The awakening shadows facing the void in the first traps. Imagine, if you will, a solitary chair at the end of a long, weathered wooden table. It's not just any chair. It's the one that once held laughter, shared secrets, and the quiet comfort of a hand reaching across for yours. Now it stands empty, a silent sentinel in the dim light of dawn filtering through half-drawn curtains. The table, once a bustling altar of family meals and midnight confessions, now echoes with absence. But here's the profound truth, whispered in the quiet spaces between heartbeats. That empty chair is not merely a reminder of what's lost. It's an invitation to rebuild, to reimagine, to rise from the ashes of sorrow into a life reborn. This is the essence of grief, not a pit to fall into, but a forge where the soul is tempered, strengthened, and ultimately transformed. Welcome to 7 Traps That Prolong Grief and How to Escape Them. I am your guide through this cinematic journey, a reflective voice narrating the raw, unfiltered odyssey of losing a spouse. We'll traverse the emotional tempests, the practical pitfalls, and the spiritual awakenings that come when the world you knew shatters like fragile glass underfoot. Our tone? Compassionate, yes, because grief deserves tenderness, but empowering too, for within you lies a resilience that can turn mourning into momentum, despair into dawn. We'll weave metaphors like threads in a tapestry, draw from stories that mirror your own, and confront modern challenges. The sting of isolation in a hyper-connected world, the weight of financial decisions made in fog-shrouded minds, the neglect of health amid emotional storms, the clutches of depression and regret that whisper lies in the night. Grief, my friend, is not just sorrow. It's a metamorphosis. Like a caterpillar dissolving in its cocoon, you feel the dissolution of your old self, the routines, the shared dreams, the identity intertwined with another's. But from that dissolution emerges something new, wings of wisdom, clarity, and inner strength. Yet this transformation isn't automatic. It's a path riddled with traps, 7 insidious ones that can prolong the pain, keeping you trapped in the chrysalis longer than necessary. We'll uncover them all, not to dwell in darkness, but to illuminate escape routes paved with practical tools, heartfelt stories, and sparks of hope. Let us begin with the reality of grief as transformation. Picture a vast ancient forest after a wildfire. The ground is charred, trees reduced to skeletal silhouettes against a smoky sky. It seems like utter devastation. But beneath the ash, seeds crack open, nourished by the very flames that destroyed the old growth. New life sprouts, vibrant, resilient, adapted. So it is with losing a spouse. The fire of loss consumes the familiar landscape of your life. The morning coffee rituals, the evening walks hand in hand, the inside jokes that no one else understands. In its wake, you're left with scorched earth, loneliness that echoes like wind through empty branches, anxiety that rustles like unseen creatures in the underbrush. But transformation beckons. Grief strips away illusions, forcing you to confront what's truly essential. It awakens a deeper empathy, a sharper appreciation for fleeting moments. Remember Sarah, a woman in her 50s whose husband passed suddenly from a heart attack? She described the initial months as wandering a fog-laden maze, bumping into walls of memory at every turn. I thought I'd never find my way out, she shared in a support group testimonial. Yet as she navigated, the fog lifted in patches, revealing paths she never knew existed. Volunteering at a local hospice, rediscovering painting as a form of solace. Her story isn't unique. It's a blueprint for us all. Grief transforms because it demands growth. It whispers, who are you now without them? And who can you become? Yet in this transformative fire, common mistakes lurk like hidden embers, ready to reignite pain. These are the traps, 7 of them, that prolong grief. They stem from our human instincts to retreat, to react impulsively, to cling to the past. We'll explore them one by one, starting with the first 3 in this part of our journey, delving deep into their emotional, practical, and spiritual dimensions. For each trap, I'll share stories drawn from real lives, anonymized for privacy, metaphors to make them vivid, and modern challenges that resonate in our fast-paced world. Then crucially, we'll chart escapes, practical tools to break free, fostering resilience and hope. Trap 1. The isolation vortex, withdrawing from the world. The first trap, isolation. It's seductive, isn't it? Like a warm blanket on a cold night, it promises comfort but delivers suffocation. In the immediate aftermath of loss, the world feels too bright, too noisy, too indifferent to your inner storm. Friends call, family texts, but you let voicemails pile up, screens go unanswered. They don't understand, you think. How could they? And so you retreat into solitude, building walls around your heart. Psychologically, this trap amplifies loneliness into a deafening roar. Loneliness isn't just absence. It's a predator that feeds on regret and anxiety. Studies from psychologists like John Cacioppo highlight how chronic isolation rewires the brain, heightening stress responses and deepening depression. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean. Grief is the storm churning its depths, but isolation removes the lighthouses, the guiding lights of human connection that could lead you to shore. Without them, waves of regret crash relentlessly. Why didn't I say I love you more? What if I'd noticed the signs sooner? Anxiety joins the fray, whispering scenarios of a future forever alone. In our modern world, this trap is exacerbated by digital paradoxes. Social media scrolls endlessly with curated happiness, weddings, vacations, anniversaries, making your grief feel like an outlier. You unfollow, unsubscribe, but the algorithm remembers, serving reminders that sting. Financially, isolation compounds practical woes. Without input from trusted advisors, you might delay sorting shared accounts or benefits, leading to mounting bills and stress. Spiritually, it starves the soul of communal rituals, funerals shared, memories honored in group settings that affirm life's continuity. Consider Mark, a 62-year-old engineer whose wife succumbed to cancer after a long battle. In the months following, he barricaded himself in their home, surrounded by her belongings like artifacts in a museum of loss. Work emails went ignored, invitations to dinners declined. I felt like an intruder in my own life, he later confessed. Isolation prolonged his grief, turning days into a blur of Netflix binges and sleepless nights haunted by what ifs. His health suffered. Skipped meals led to weight loss, neglected checkups to undiagnosed hypertension. It was only when a neighbor persisted, dragging him to a widow's walking group, that cracks appeared in his fortress. The hidden lesson here? Isolation teaches clarity about what truly matters. Connection as the thread binding us to humanity. It reveals inner strength and vulnerability. Admitting I need help is not weakness, but wisdom. Grief, in its transformative guise, uses this trap to spotlight your resilience. You've survived the unimaginable. Now harness that to reach out. Escaping the vortex requires practical tools wielded with compassion. Start small, the one reach rule. Each day, make one connection. A text to a friend, a call to a relative, even a comment on a supportive online forum. Journaling helps. Set aside 10 minutes nightly to write 3 gratitudes and 1 reach plan for tomorrow. Self-care anchors this. A daily walk in nature, where the rustle of leaves reminds you life cycles continue. Seek support groups, organizations like GriefShare or online communities on platforms like Reddit's RR Widowers offer anonymity and empathy. Remember, escaping isn't about forcing joy. It's about allowing light through the cracks. Metaphorically, think of isolation as a cocoon too tightly woven. To escape, you must push against the silk, emerging with wings tested by the struggle. Sarah from earlier escaped by joining a book club focused on lost literature. Reading others' stories made mine feel less singular, she said. Modern challenge. Combat digital isolation by curating your feeds. Follow accounts like The Grief Project for inspiration, not comparison. As you escape trap 1, feel the empowerment. You're not alone in your solitude. Resilience blooms in shared shadows. Trap 2, the financial quicksand, rash decisions in the fog. Now we descend into the second trap, financial quicksand. Grief clouds judgment like mist over a treacherous bog. One wrong step and you're sinking deeper. In the haze of loss, practical matters loom. joint accounts frozen, inheritances to navigate, bills arriving like unwelcome ghosts. The instinct: react impulsively, selling the house too soon, splurging on retail therapy, or ignoring paperwork until penalties accrue. Emotionally, this trap fuels regret, a venomous serpent coiling around your peace. Why did I liquidate those investments without advice? You might lament as market shifts erode security. Anxiety spikes. How will I afford the future alone? Socially, it isolates further. Admitting financial missteps feels shameful in a society equating money with competence. Modern challenges amplify this. In an era of gig economies and volatile markets, widows often face widows' penalties in taxes or pensions. Neglecting health ties in. Stress from financial woes exacerbates depression, creating a vicious cycle. Spiritually, it challenges faith. Why this burden on top of heartbreak? Take Elena, a 48-year-old teacher whose husband died in a car accident. Overwhelmed, she hastily sold their shared car and dipped into retirement savings for unnecessary home renovations, seeking to erase memories. Months later, regret hit like a tidal wave. Transportation issues hindered her job, and depleted funds heightened anxiety. I was trying to control something, anything, she reflected. Her story echoes many. A 2023 study by the CFP board noted that 40% of widows make major financial changes within the first year, often regrettably. The hidden lesson? This trap imparts wisdom and stewardship, honoring your spouse's legacy through prudent choices. It builds inner strength. Navigating numbers demands clarity, transforming grief's fog into focused vision. To escape, arm yourself with tools. First, the pause protocol. For any decision over $500, wait 48 hours and consult two trusted sources, a financial advisor or free services like those from AIRP's Widowhood Resources. Journal finances, track expenses weekly, noting emotional triggers, e.g., bought that gadget to fill emptiness. Self-care integrates. Mindfulness apps like Calm offer guided sessions on stress and money. Support groups with financial foci, such as Women in Transition, provide peer insights. Metaphor: financial quicksand is like a river's undercurrent, strong but navigable with a lifeline. Throw yourself one. Build an emergency fund as a raft, professional advice as oars. Mark from Trap 1, escape by attending a free seminar on estate planning, turning panic into plan. Empowerment surges as you step onto solid ground. Grief's transformation includes financial freedom, a tribute to shared dreams. Trap 3, the health eclipse, neglecting the body's temple. The third trap casts a shadow, neglecting health. Grief eclipses self-care, like clouds blotting the sun, dimming vitality. You skip meals, forgo exercise, ignore symptoms. Who cares about my body when my heart is broken? But this trap prolongs suffering, turning emotional pain into physical decay. Psychologically, it's a breeding ground for depression. Poor nutrition and sleep fuel mood spirals, as per Harvard Medical School research. Regret festers. I let myself go, they'd be disappointed. Anxiety manifests somatically. Heart palpitations, mistaken for illness, amplifying fear. In today's world, this trap thrives amid pandemic-era isolation and work-from-home sedentary lives. Financial ties. Medical bills from neglected issues add strain. Socially, it withdraws you further. Who wants company when energy wanes? Spiritually, it questions purpose. Why maintain this vessel without my partner? David, a 55-year-old architect, lost his wife to Alzheimer's. Post-loss, he drowned sorrows in takeout and alcohol, gaining weight and battling insomnia. My body became a stranger, he said. Depression deepened until a doctor's visit revealed prediabetes, a wake-up call. Hidden lessons. This trap reveals clarity and embodiment, your body as a sacred continuation of love. It forges inner strength through discipline, transforming grief into guardian of well-being. Escape with practical steps, the body beacon routine, daily checkpoints, hydrate, move, a 10-minute walk, nourish, one healthy meal. Journal health, log moods post-exercise to see patterns. Tools like MyFitnessPal track progress, Support groups incorporate yoga or nutrition shares. Metaphor, health eclipse is temporary. Wait for the sun's return by positioning yourself wisely. Elena escaped via a grief yoga class, reclaiming her temple. As we close this part, remember, these traps are not destinies but detours. You face the void, glimpse transformation, hope whispers, resilience is your birthright. The crucible of the mind navigating inner storms and breaking free from traps. The empty chair still looms, doesn't it? Its silhouette in the dim glow of your life feels both heavy and hollow, a monument to love lost, yet a quiet challenge to reclaim what remains. In part one, we face the awakening shadows, the isolation vortex that pulls you from connection, the financial quicksand that threatens stability, and the health eclipse that dims your vitality. Now, in part two of 7 traps that prolong grief and how to escape them, we dive deeper into the crucible of the mind, where grief's psychological fires burn hottest. Here we'll confront 2 more traps, the suffocating grip of depression's undertow and the paralyzing web of regret. Through stories, metaphors, and practical tools, we'll uncover their hidden lessons and forge paths to resilience, weaving hope into the fabric of your transformation. Grief is a storm, not a single lightning strike. It's a tempest that reshapes the landscape of your soul, carving valleys of sorrow but also peaks of newfound strength. Losing a spouse doesn't just alter your days, it rewrites your inner world. The modern challenges, digital overload, societal pressure to move on too soon, the quiet ache of a home once shared, make this crucible feel inescapable. Yet within its heat lies alchemy, the chance to transmute pain into purpose, chaos into clarity. The traps we explore now prey on your mind's vulnerabilities, but they also reveal its power to heal. Let's walk this path together, with compassion for your wounds and empowerment for your wings. Trap 4. The depression undertow. Sinking beneath the waves. Picture an ocean at midnight, its surface deceptively calm. Beneath an undertow waits, silent, invisible, pulling you down with relentless force. This is the 4th trap, depression's undertow. After losing a spouse, sadness is expected, but depression is a deeper current, dragging you into depths where light struggles to reach. It's not just tears or sleepless nights. It's a heaviness that cloaks your thoughts, whispering, nothing matters anymore. You might skip social outings, let hobbies gather dust, or feel joy as a betrayal of their memory. Psychologically, this trap is a thief. It steals motivation, clouds judgment, and amplifies loneliness. As studies from the National Institute of Mental Health show, grief-related depression affects nearly 20% of widows within the first year. Anxiety intertwines. Will I ever feel alive again? Socially, it isolates further. You decline invitations, fearing you'll be a burden. Financially, it stalls progress. Unopened bills pile up as energy wanes. Spiritually, it casts doubt. What's the point of faith if love can be taken so cruelly? In our hyper-connected yet disconnected world, this trap thrives. Social media bombards you with others' highlight reels, making your darkness feel alien. Work-from-home routines blur boundaries, leaving you trapped in a cycle of rumination. Neglecting health, as we saw in Trap 3, fuels this undertow. Poor sleep and diet deepen the spiral. Consider Rachel, a 42-year-old nurse whose husband died in a workplace accident. For months, she moved through life like a ghost, her once vibrant laugh silenced. I'd wake up and forget he was gone, she shared in a therapy group. Then it'd hit me, and I'd sink into this nothing. Her kids noticed her withdrawal. Her colleagues saw her errors at work. Depression's undertow wasn't just sadness, it was losing herself. The hidden lesson? This trap reveals the mind's resilience, even in its darkest hours. Depression forces you to confront your core. What keeps you tethered to life? It teaches clarity. Love's enduring imprint fuels your will to rise. Rachel found this lesson when her daughter's school project, a scrapbook of family memories, sparked tears but also purpose. To live for her children, honoring her husband's legacy. Escaping this undertow demands gentle yet deliberate action. Start with the anchor ritual. Each morning, set one small, achievable goal. Make the bed, brew tea, step outside for 5 minutes. These anchors ground you against the current. Journaling is a lifeline. Write one sentence daily about a moment you felt alive, even briefly. Self-care is critical. Try a 10-minute meditation via apps like Headspace to calm the storm within. Support groups like those through the American Widow Project offer shared stories that normalize your struggle. If the undertow feels overwhelming, professional help, therapists or counselors specializing in grief, can be a lifeboat. Metaphorically, depression is an undertow, but you are the swimmer. You don't fight the current, you swim parallel to shore, finding footing bit by bit. Rachel escaped by joining a grief choir, where singing her pain with others lifted her spirit. Modern challenge: curate your digital space. Unfollow accounts that trigger despair. Follow ones like Grief and Growing for Hope. Empowerment comes as you surface. Each breath above the waves is a victory, a testament to your strength. Trap 5. The Regret Web. Tangled in what-ifs. Now we face the fifth trap, the regret web. Imagine a spider's web, delicate yet sticky, each thread a what-if, or if only, that ensnares your mind. What if I'd pushed for that second opinion? If only I'd said, "I love you" that morning. Regret weaves a net that traps you in the past, stalling the journey forward. It's not just sadness. It's a self-inflicted wound, blaming yourself for things beyond control. Psychologically, regret fuels anxiety and depression, as per research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. It creates a loop. You replay moments, searching for alternate endings, but find only pain. Socially, it isolates. You avoid sharing regrets, fearing judgment. Financially, it ties to trap 2, impulsive decisions driven by guilt, like overspending to make up for perceived failures. Spiritually, it challenges meaning. If I'd been better, would they still be here? Modern life tightens this web. Online forums amplify guilt. Stories of perfect spouses make you question your own efforts. Social expectations to grieve correctly add pressure. Why am I stuck on regrets when others seem to move on? Health suffers. Stress from rumination raises cortisol, weakening immunity. Take James, a 50-year-old accountant whose wife passed from a sudden aneurysm. He fixated on their last argument, a trivial spat over vacation plans. "I wasted our final moments," he told his grief counselor. The regret web kept him up nights, replaying words he couldn't unsay. It strained his relationships. Friends grew weary of his self-blame. The hidden lesson? Regret teaches wisdom. You love deeply, and that love makes you human, not flawed. It builds inner strength through forgiveness of yourself, of circumstances. James learned this when he wrote a letter to his wife, pouring out his regrets, then burned it in a symbolic release, feeling lighter. To escape, use the web cutter approach. Identify one regret daily and counter it with a truth. Example: if only I'd been kinder becomes, I loved them in countless ways they cherished. Journaling aids this. Write the regret, then the truth beside it. Self-care supports. Exercise, like a brisk walk, breaks rumination's grip. Support groups or therapy offer safe spaces to voice regrets. Other stories mirror yours, loosening the web's hold. Online resources like the Grief Recovery Methods exercises guide structured release. Metaphor: the regret web is sticky but fragile. Each truth you speak is a tear in its threads, letting light through. James escaped by volunteering at a community center, channeling regret into action. Modern challenge: limit exposure to triggering content. Mute Reddit threads that fuel guilt. Seek ones like ER grief support for solidarity. As you cut through the web, feel the empowerment. Regrets don't define you. They refine you, sharpening your capacity for love and growth, weaving the threads of resilience. As we close part 2, the crucible of the mind reveals its paradox. The same storms that threaten to break you forge your strength. Depression's undertow and regret's web are formidable, but they're not your destiny. They're teachers guiding you toward clarity, wisdom, and resilience. Rachel and James, like you, faced these traps and found escape through small, intentional steps, rituals, connections, truths. The empty chair remains, but its invitation grows clearer. To honor your spouse by living fully, not perfectly. The modern world complicates grief with its noise and expectations, but it also offers tools, apps, communities, knowledge at your fingertips. You're not alone in this crucible. The lessons of these traps are universal. Your pain is valid. Your strength is real. As we move to part 3, we'll face the final traps and unveil the ultimate call to transform grief into a path of renewal. The path to renewal, escaping the final traps and embracing transformation. The empty chair has been your silent companion through this journey, a symbol of absence, yes, but also a beacon of possibility. In part 1, we navigated the awakening shadows of isolation, financial missteps, and neglected health. In part 2, we braved the crucible of the mind, wrestling with depression's undertow and regret's sticky web. Now in part 3 of 7 traps that prolong grief and how to escape them, we stand at the threshold of renewal. Here we confront the final 2 traps, the stasis of clinging to the past and the fear of moving forward. Through vivid metaphors, relatable stories, and practical tools, we'll uncover their hidden lessons and illuminate a path to healing, a path that honors your lost love while empowering you to live anew. This is not the end of grief, but the beginning of its transformation into a force for clarity, wisdom, and hope. Grief is a river, ever flowing, carving new channels through your soul. Losing a spouse leaves you stranded on its banks, the current both daunting and sacred. Modern life complicates this journey, social media's relentless pace, societal expectations to heal on a timeline, the quiet ache of routines once shared. Yet within this river lies a promise. Its waters can carry you toward renewal, not drown you. The final traps we face are subtle but powerful, binding you to what was instead of what can be. Escaping them requires courage, but it rewards you with resilience, a testament to love's enduring power. Let's cross this river together, with compassion for your pain and empowerment for your future. Trap 6, the stasis of clinging to the past, anchored to yesterday. Imagine a shipwreck, its weathered hull lodged in the shallows of a forgotten shore. The tides have moved on, but the wreck remains, tethered to the sand by rusted chains. This is the 6th trap, clinging to the past. After losing a spouse, the past feels like sacred ground. Their favorite sweater in the closet, their handwriting on old grocery lists, the echo of their laugh in familiar places. You hold tight, fearing that letting go means losing them forever. You might keep their side of the bed untouched, avoid changing the house, or replay memories until they become a shrine. Psychologically, this trap fosters stagnation. It keeps you in a loop of nostalgia, as studies from the American Psychological Association suggest, delaying acceptance and growth. Anxiety festers. If I change anything, am I betraying them? Socially, it isolates. You may push away friends who urge you to move on, feeling they don't understand. Financially, it ties to trap 2. Clinging to a shared home might strain budgets, delaying practical decisions. Spiritually, it dims hope. How can I find meaning without them? In today's world, this trap is amplified by digital relics, photos on your phone, their old emails, social media profiles frozen in time. The internet becomes a museum, tempting you to linger. Health suffers. Emotional fixation can lead to stress-related ailments, like headaches or fatigue. Consider Lisa, a 47-year-old graphic designer whose husband passed from leukemia. She kept his office exactly as he left it, down to the coffee mug on his desk. It felt like preserving him, she said in a grief workshop. But the untouched room became a weight, draining her energy and stalling her healing. The hidden lesson? Clinging to the past teaches clarity. Your love endures beyond objects or routines. It builds inner strength through selective release, keeping what honors, letting go of what binds. Lisa learned this when she donated her husband's books to a library, feeling his legacy live on in others' hands. To escape, use the memory mosaic approach. Curate the past instead of preserving it wholesale. Choose one meaningful item, a watch, a letter, to keep close, and release others with intention, perhaps through donation or ritual. Journaling helps. Write a letter to your spouse about what you're keeping and why, affirming their place in your heart. Self-care supports. A daily mindfulness practice, like a 5-minute breathing exercise via apps like Insight Timer, grounds you in the present. Support groups, such as those through Soaring Spirits International, offer spaces to share stories of balancing memory and progress. Metaphorically, clinging to the past is like staying on that shipwreck. To escape, you don't abandon the ship. You salvage its treasures and sail anew. Lisa escaped by creating a digital scrapbook of her husband's photos, freeing physical space while preserving love. Modern challenge: manage digital relics. Archive their social media privately or create a memorial page, like those on Facebook, to honor without haunting. Empowerment blooms as you move. The past becomes a foundation, not a chain, building resilience for tomorrow. Trap 7. The fear of moving forward, standing at the threshold. Now the final trap, the fear of moving forward. Picture a bridge spanning a misty chasm, its far side cloaked in fog. You stand at its edge, hesitant, the unknown ahead more daunting than the pain behind. This fear whispers, moving on means forgetting. It's the dread of new joys, new relationships, or even small changes, like laughing without guilt or redecorating a room, feeling like disloyalty. You might avoid new hobbies, decline dates, or shy away from career shifts rooted by the question, who am I without them? Psychologically, this trap fuels anxiety, as per research in grief and loss journals, creating a paralysis where growth feels like betrayal. Depression lingers. Joy seems forbidden. Socially, it isolates. Friends may drift, unsure how to support your hesitation. Financially, it stalls progress. Fear might keep you in an unsustainable job or home. Spiritually, it challenges purpose. Can I honor them while living fully? Modern life intensifies this. Social media showcases others moving on faster, pressuring you to match their pace. Work from home isolation limits new experiences that could spark growth. Health ties in. Fear-induced stress raises blood pressure, as Mayo Clinic studies note. Take Michael, a 60-year-old retired teacher whose wife died in a car crash. He declined invitations to travel with friends, fearing it meant erasing her. She loved adventures, he told a counselor. How could I go without her? His world shrank, his health declined, and loneliness grew. The hidden lesson? Fear reveals wisdom. Moving forward doesn't erase love. It expands its legacy. It forges inner strength through courage. Each step across the bridge is a tribute to your resilience. Michael learned this when he took a solo trip to a place they'd planned to visit, scattering her ashes in a quiet moment of connection. To escape, try the bridge step method. Take one small action weekly that feels forward-moving: a new class, a coffee with a friend, a journal entry about future dreams. Self-care anchors. Exercise, like yoga, builds confidence, as apps like Down Dog offer guided sessions. Support groups like Widowed Village connect you with others crossing similar bridges. Therapy can help reframe fear as growth. Resources like BetterHelp offer accessible options. Metaphor: fear is the fog on the bridge, but each step clears the mist, revealing a path. Michael escaped by joining a photography club, capturing beauty that felt like a shared gift with his wife. Modern challenge: counter societal pressure. Follow accounts like Widows of Light for stories of moving forward with love. Empowerment surges as you cross. Each step honors your spouse by living the life they'd want for you. The call to renewal. As we close part 3, the river of grief reveals its destination, not an end, but a transformation. The stasis of the past and the fear of moving forward are traps, but they're also teachers, guiding you toward clarity, wisdom, and inner strength. Lisa and Michael, like you, found renewal not by erasing grief, but by weaving it into their lives' tapestry. The empty chair remains, but it's no longer just absence. It's an invitation to live fully, carrying love forward. The modern world, with its noise and haste, can obscure this path, but it also offers tools, communities, apps, stories of others who've walked this river. Grief is not your enemy. It's a forge, shaping you into someone who can love deeply and live boldly. You've escaped 7 traps, each a lesson, each a step toward resilience. This journey ends with a call. Let grief be your path to renewal. Honor your spouse by embracing the life ahead, not as a replacement, but as a continuation of love's legacy. The chair may stay empty, but your heart need not. Step forward with hope as your compass.